Warning. The following podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Remember, the first rule of gambling responsibly is to bet with your head and not over it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cousin Vito's Casino Podcast proudly presents your guide to enjoying gambling. And now, direct from the bar, your cousin and mine, Cousin Vito!
Welcome, everybody, to Cousin Vito's Casino Podcast, your guide to enjoying gambling. I'm your host, Cousin Vito, and together, we're going to make luck happen at the casino. Thank you for checking out this very special Thanksgiving break 2021 episode of the podcast. And boy, do I have a fun interview for us today. It feels good to be back in this chair here behind my computer. I got the microphone in front of me here. I'm sorry for the prolonged hiatus, but boy, has it been a wild couple years here. I got the baby. He's walking around. He's banging his head. I'm still going to the casino, still doing a little winning here. Connecticut has online gambling now, so I'm like a hog in heaven over here. But today we have a wonderful interview for you. I have a recreational gambler, a recreational poker player like you, like me, who satellited into the World Series of Poker this year. And let me tell you, spoiler alert, this guy was one of the chip leaders in the World Series heading into day 2 or 3, or we'll find out more in the interview. So shortly we're going to welcome on my friend Matty from Maine, and he goes up and down, what it's like, because this is a dream for me, and I'm sure a lot of you recreational gamblers listening, we play poker at home, maybe we play online, maybe we go to our local casino, we play some sit-and-goes, play some tournaments, cash games, and try to get into that World Series. But my friend Matty, he's satellited into the World Series of Poker twice, 2019 and 2021. So we're going to sit back and we're going to, I'm going to pick his brain, figure out how he got there, what it was like, what he learned, the trials and tribulations of being, a regular Joe like me and you heading out to the World Series. So that's going to happen, actually pretty shortly here. But after the interview, I'm going to sit down, crack a cocktail, and we're going to, catch up. It's been a while. I've been playing, going to the casino, playing a little bit. I've had some fun in the wrestling. I've got, knocked out by Eddie Kingston. I've got slapped around lately. So I've been having, living my best life. And hopefully everyone who listens, you guys have been living your best life, because it's been a crazy couple of years here. So feels good to be back in front of this microphone here today. But we're going to jump right in. I guess, what are we? We're almost like a minute in here. So we're going to cut the fat is what we're going to do. We're going to cut the fat out of the front end here. We're going to jump right into my interview with Matty from Maine, a World Series of Poker player now. He's a man who's been there twice, and he's going to share his stories about being a regular average Joe, the common man, if you will, heading out to Las Vegas, going to the Rio for, the farewell to the Rio this year. And, I actually really enjoyed this interview. We talked for about an hour here, and honestly, if it weren't a football Sunday and I got to get the parlays in, got to get the teasers in, all the terrible bets you're not supposed to make, got to get them all in now on my app. But, we had to go. So sit back, relax, enjoy this. So how do I do this again? Let me scratch my head here. Oh, yeah. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome on my pal, Matty from Maine, to share his World Series of Poker main event experience. Oh, all right. We are here with a very special guest today. The common man, I'd like to say. We have a guest that I've been living vicariously through for actually a couple years now. A World Series of Poker main event participant in back-to-back years. I want to introduce Matty to the show. Matty, it is great to have you on the show.
Vito, how are you, my friend? Good to see you again. Long time no see.
It's been a while. Yeah, my voice is a little hoarse today, so don't mind me, but I've been really looking forward to this, Matt. And background on this, I have something to admit. I've been kind of cyber stalking you for the past couple years here. And correct me if I'm wrong, you've participated in the World Series main event 2 years in a row.
2 years, well, two of the live years. Last year was online. I didn't do it, but 2019 and 2021.
Oh, very true. Yeah, I blocked out the 2020 online World Series.
We all try to do that.
So 2 out of 3 years you've participated in the main event. And we're going to jump right into this because this is a recreational gambling podcast. And really, you're kind of living the recreational gambler's dream. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. You're not hanging out in poker rooms 24/7, got the cigar in your mouth, tipping waitresses a penny because you're there all day. You're just a regular 9 to 5 guy that you play poker on the weekends.
Yeah, for now, unless we can get a couple more big wins. But right now, that's where we is. You know, I live up in Maine, so there's not a lot of, you know, opportunities to play. So we play when we can and we get it done. And just a couple of years in a row, we got lucky to find our way into the main event, which is the dream. The first year was just the dream of being there. This year we capitalized on the dream a little.
Oh, and I loved watching the updates online. So you're up in Maine now. How's the casino scene up there? Do you go to the casinos out there? Do they have poker rooms open up in Maine?
That's the probably one of the downfalls of being in Maine. Not really any. There is a couple small casinos. There's one in Oxford. They don't do poker. There's one in Bangor, which is really a hike. Like we're better off going to, you know, Foxwoods or Mohegan at this point. So there's a couple rooms in New Hampshire, which do poker. Seabrook, New Hampshire is probably the biggest one. They call it the Brook now. Really nice, but the pandemic has obviously took a hit on poker everywhere, especially in this area. We also had Encore in Boston, which was a beautiful room. And they, at this time, still haven't brought back poker since the pandemic started. So it's a few and far between. So we got to find our opportunities in other ways to scratch the itch.
So needless to say, you're not hopping in the car and playing every weekend. When you're playing home games with your friends. You know, you invite people over. You're doing like basically old school before we had all these casinos everywhere.
Absolutely. So, you know, if you get around the poker rooms, you start talking, you get involved in, we'll call them well-run home games.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully they're probably pretty well run. Now, how did you get into the World Series? Did you travel to one of these casinos, or is this, just a poker club up there that everyone, you got a little camaraderie amongst all your friends?
Exactly. So that's what it is. We have, I frequent a private club here in Maine where we play every week. We play every Tuesday, and we have a small tournament, $90 tournament every week. And as you play, every time you buy in, you get points for the end of the year championship tournament. And those points equate to chips, more or less. You get 1,000 chips every time you play. So at the end of the year, we throw this one big World Series of Poker championship tournament where the winner gets sent off with $10K for the buy-in. They pay for your flight and hotel. It's a really, really great spot to be in. And there's a lot of people that get out to Vegas that way. But, I'm, like you, I'm not just dropping 10K out of my pocket.
Yeah, well, and I've tried for years, done little satellites, little boopy DT. I always lose. I've never made it. And you've made it twice. So the way this works, did you win this tournament 2 years? Is it just first place?
Yeah, it's just first place. I won it 2 years in a row. So,
so you're the big man on campus up there in this private club.
Something like that. I try not to be, but 2 years in a row, it was crazy enough to win 1 year in a row, but 2 years in a row, hopefully we can take it down this year and go back next year as well.
Now we'll start with your first experience. Now, now it's World Series. It's still at the Rio, at least for this. The past two that you went to are at the Rio, the main events.
Correct.
Now, you go out there. How was your first time out there? Like, was there anything that you expected that happened? You didn't expect? Like, because for me, walking in, you figure, I read about long lines and a lot of excitement there. Mm-hmm. What was it like you're a guy from a poker club in Maine. It's not like you're playing in the Venetian every week.
Yeah, I mean, I've been out to Vegas a few times, so I, knew what to expect. But, it's kind of overwhelming walking into the Amazon room at the Rio, and all the TV cameras back in 2019. It was still ESPN, so there's trucks everywhere, and it's just surreal. You walk into this room with thousands of players, and it sounds like crickets or cicadas with just chips riffling, and it's like, I'm here. This is it. I talked to some people beforehand about buying in, and some tips of like go late at night. Because the lines can get significantly long. Last year it wasn't that bad. I probably only waited 30, 40 minutes in line. This year was probably more like an hour, and I went at like 10 o'clock at night the night before. But, small price to pay.
Yes, definitely to live the dream out there. Now, how was the, just the schedule of the tournament? Now, I believe when we had Daniel Negreanu on the show, he was talking about how, you want to eat right, sleep right, you want to be in a nice regimen because they're long days. Is that what you felt? Did it feel like a real grind out there?
It is a grind, especially coming from the East Coast. I think that is one thing you really got to think about is you're playing approximately noon to midnight every day. And, with East Coast time, we're talking now you're up till 3 a.m., your body's time. And then this year you got to add on daylight savings time, which happened like the day or two before I went out there. So, we're talking just trying to get acclimated to the time change of being awake, late hours.
So it translates like 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. when you got out there. Basically, that's what you were doing.
Yeah, it's a nutty time frame, and I think that the schedule is really important to get on. Especially one of the pieces of advice the first year was just kind of this experience. I was trying to get it all in, take it all in. So my wife came out with me. We went out and we stayed over. I was trying to accommodate her. So find a nice hotel that she can relax at the pool at. So we ended up staying over at the Hard Rock, which nice hotel, not the most friendly to get around to the Strip.
No. You're basically Ubering to the Strip.
Yeah. So there was a lot of Ubers. My Uber bill was ridiculous that first year. I was like, oh my God, I could have played a couple tournaments for these Ubers. So that was probably the one experience I took off of it. This year we stayed in the Rio. I went out by myself and way better experience. You can go back to your room on break. The Rio is what it is, but the convenience is second to none when you're playing right there.
Well, especially you get the little bit of break. You can run up, go to the bathroom, refresh yourself a little bit. Or then when you finish up, you could go right to your room, shower, relax. And since it's basically a 12-hour shift you're running in that poker room, when at least in my life, when I work 12-hour days at work when I do, it's nice to get home, get in bed. And if you go straight to bed, you do feel refreshed. Where if you got to take the Uber, then you got to go find something to eat. I could see how that would almost be a detriment to your success that first year.
Yeah, it was one of those things. My first year, I kind of didn't plan it out as well as I could have. And, I thought I was really worried about food. And there's a little cafeteria there. And I walk over the cafeteria and I realized there's nobody here at the cafeteria at dinner break. And I'm like, okay, I think if the food was fine, I got a sandwich or a burger or something. Wasn't anything special, but, it got the job done. But, looking around at the crowd that was in the little cafeteria versus the crowd that just left the poker room, I was like, all right, this is not the play, So
why is everyone walking by the cafeteria?
Yeah, I know. They know something I didn't know, but I didn't want to have to deal with you get an hour and 15 minutes for a dinner break, which if you get in an Uber battle, you're going to be rushing.
Speeding, yeah, and especially the Uber, you might wait 20 minutes for the thing, and then by the time you're in traffic, you get there, crosswalk, all this stuff, and then you get back to the Hard Rock, and you're like, well, I'm going to turn around now. Go
so just staying at the Rio was a blessing, and you grab some food the night before, the morning of, put it up in your room, you're ready to go.
Yeah, I made the mistake once of trying to walk to the Rio from Caesars. I almost got me and my girlfriend at the time run over on the freeway. We were jogging. It was a horrible nightmare. So, yeah, staying at the Rio, I could see that being a huge advantage. Did you catch Penn and Teller while you were out there, actually, at the Rio?
I didn't. You know what I did? I did catch a show. I went out to Piff the Magic Dragon, which, from America's Got Talent. Friends with Penn and Teller, so... One of the days off I had, I was kind of bored, looked up what was going on, and it was a good show. It was worth it.
Now, to jump back to your first first experience in 2019. Now, I'm not. This is spoiler alert for everyone. We're going to do Pulp Fiction style, the beginning, the end first here. You didn't place in 2019, am I correct? Through my cyber stalking, I noticed that.
Yeah, I did not place in 2019. It was one of those things. It was an experience of getting used to the play. I think. The main event is like nothing else, especially in poker, where You got 2-hour blinds. You can't practice that anyway. Where I'm playing in Maine and New England, you got 20-minute blinds. You're lucky to find a 30-minute blind somewhere. So I'm 2-hour blinds. It is an absolute marathon. Just learn to relax and let it happen. But the first day we ended up busting at the very end of the first day on our first trip. So
that's a tough way to go.
A tough way to go. I wasn't disappointed because I did the right thing. I got all in pre-flop with pocket kings versus pocket jacks, the dream scenario.
Jack on the river, maybe?
Jack on the flop, just...
Oh, so then you're like, maybe a king will come.
Yeah,
nope, nah.
yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and it was like, 20 minutes. I just played for 11 hours and then to have to go back, to... and just have a nice
the
vacation.
Uber to the Hard Rock.
Yeah, so this work trip turned into a vacation really fast.
Well, at least you got to enjoy the pool at the Hard Rock maybe a couple of years ago.
It was a nice pool.
So, what did you learn in 2019? Did you do anything differently? Obviously, we talked about staying and all that, but when you got your chips and went to sit down, did you have a different mentality? Was you had 2 years to reflect on, and obviously winning into the tournament's the dream, but I feel like going out 20 minutes before the end of the first day is kind of a nightmare. Like that's almost not going out right at the beginning would stink, but going that whole day and being like, I don't have to do anything to wake up for tomorrow. That you don't even get to go to bed with the little, hope and dream in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I think talking to people and just in my own experience, having a good first day is, while if you stayed even for the first day, you'd be fine for the second day. But setting yourself with a good first day and getting a good first table, I think is, part of the luck of it. But, there's some serious recreational players who just have money to throw around and get in there. And, if you could pick out those folks, and you're like, all right, that's my target for the rest of the day. And then just try to you got to avoid bombs, avoid landmines in there. You're going to have pros, you're going to have, you're going to have millionaires at your table, like people who don't care. So you got to really suss out who's at your table. I didn't have anybody, that I recognized at my table first day, but my strategy was I got there early. Every time someone showed up to the table and gave their ticket to the dealer, I would try to glance over at their name, give them a quick Google.
A little reconnaissance.
Oh yeah. So the reconnaissance is really important, especially once you get past day one. They give you, they post online the tables and everyone's sitting at your table. So you get up in the morning. I had a really good routine the second year of, get some breakfast, pull out the iPad, start doing some Googling, check out their Hendon Mom results, see what I'm up against.
Oh, wow. So that's actually, that is a stark difference from, you got your feet wet that first year. And then in this year's, you really went in there almost like James Bond. You're showing up early, peeping their names. And and honestly, that's what the great poker players do. You're playing the table. You're playing your opponents. You're not just playing the cards.
Yeah. And then it's interesting because you're going to be there with them. If you're lucky, you're going to be there with them all day. And so you can kind of start to get a feel, even if you never heard of these guys, you can get a feel of what they're doing and really start to hone in on how you're going to react to how they're playing.
Now, did anything jump out to you the first day this year? Like, so you got the table, you got to know everyone there. Were there any big hands that really put you up? Were there any moments where you were like, oh, that's the mark at the table. That's the guy that I'm going to go after?
There was one guy I didn't get the pleasure of busting in, but when you're playing, especially you play these home games and, you got people playing for fun. There's a lot of, in poker, there's a lot of limping going on.
Yes.
And at the World Series of Poker, there's virtually no limping. And when you see someone and you start out and this guy is limping every hand, you're like, all right, this guy, either he's an evil genius or, he's a total recreational player who's just here to have fun and see as many hands as possible. So we had one guy who was limping and he didn't last too long. He maybe made it halfway through the day.
Sounds like that would be my experience, limping around and then somebody taking me out and putting me out of my misery on day one.
I was just like, but there was one interesting, probably at the very end of day one, I had a decent stack. You start with 60,000. I was probably at 150,000 towards the end of the day.
So you're feeling good.
I'm feeling good. We're a couple hands away. And one of the things, you can count on is when you get towards the end of the day, there's a lot of people who just want to make day two, and their goal is to just make it to the next day, not bust. And so, got into a hand with, we're probably two hands from the end of the day, got into a hand with one guy at the other end of the table. I flop a pair and I think a straight draw, and there's a straight out there. And so I just decided, I was like, this guy, if he wants to go all in, if he wants to put his life on the line for day two, he had a short stack. So I was like, let's put this guy to the test. And he ended up calling with pocket aces, kind of the nightmare. But
but we ended up like, oh, of course.
It was funny. I felt, I had probably 20% equity, 20% chance to win in that hand. And I saw it and I went, oh man, I got tons of outs. And the river came one of those outs and we took him out. So even if we lost the hand, we still would have been in good shape going to day two. But getting up to, more than triple your stack, I think we ended the day at 193,000. And
wow.
And
that poor guy went home and he was like, I pocket aces. He got straight on the river, this guy. Man.
I gave him a story,
True. No, that's a good day one story where he's like, I even had to pocket it. And he could go home feeling okay. Because honestly, there's nothing worse than when you go out and you make the wrong call. And you're like, what did I do that? What was I thinking? When you're ahead and you make the call, you're like, you know what? The poker gods, what am I going to do?
Yeah, so this donkey from Maine got me, and
now
moving on.
So day one was a success. What do you do? So it's midnight Vegas time, 4 a.m. in your body. What did you do? The adrenaline must have been rushing still for you. You just had this big hand. Did you go get hopefully you didn't go to the cafeteria, but did you go get a meal? What do you do? Did you go right to bed?
I went back to my room.
Girl there?
Yeah, I went back to my room and I was just like, you had this amazing dream first day. We're in the top 20, 30 of the day out of thousands. We're probably 2,000-3,000 played my day one. And I let out a couple let's goes in the room. I'm a kind of more of a quiet guy at the table, so I was able to let it out, and it's just like, this is what we're talking about.
So you probably walked in after your first experience of losing in the first day. You were probably just on the plane like, don't go out the first day. Don't go out the first day. That's all I want. I just don't want to go out the first day. And you pulled it off, and you were ahead. So you were almost tripled up then by the end of the first day.
More than tripled up. We were at 193. So we had a solid first.
All right, so take me through this. So you get in the room, let out a couple of let's goes. You take your shower, head hits the pillow. You wake up in the morning. You have till noon. So at this point, you got to be really excited. You're excited going to the first day, but now you're like, the world is my oyster here. I got some chips to play with. I'm in the main event with 3 times my chip stack here on day 2.
Yeah. So we're here. We actually had a day off. The second day. So the World Series poker this year had a really wonky schedule of, normally they got 3 or 4 day ones that you can choose to play in. This year, I think they had 6 day ones.
Oh,
which because I think they extended it because there were some issues with people traveling in from Europe.
You got to pay for that by taking a day off.
I wanted to have a day, if you don't want to play 7 days in a row, 12 hours a day. So I planned it so I could have a couple of days off in there. So we had the day off. We went around, we went and got some lunch. We went downtown.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I got a couple spots that I like to go down there. And, but then, the day 2 on our third day of playing was actually day 2. And, I got up early, had a good routine going. You get up, stretch, go for a walk around the casino.
No shortage of places to walk in Vegas, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. So it was beautiful weather. The disappointing thing is they're going to go back to the World Series in the summer. November was the perfect perfect time.
Yeah,
Everyone
that
was
nice
awesome.
crisp fall air at least a little bit,
You know,
not melting on the sidewalk.
Yeah, so 70
It's a dry
degrees,
heat.
70 degrees out. We're loving life. We got a big stack. I got some breakfast. I went and took some time to look at my table draw. I only had one. I had one significant pro at my table, and I was the big stack at the table, and I was like looking at the table. And I was like, I can
do this.
I can do this. I got small stacks, all around me. This guy Aaron Mermelstein, who's a really good pro. He was the only significant guy at my table, and everyone's like, "Hey, it's Mermelstein." I was like, "I think we're all aware of who he is," and so we had a good first morning, the second morning, and then we kind of our table got broke a couple times, so that was a little bit of a challenge.
A couple of roadblocks for you because you get to know who you're against, you get to know what their tendencies, and then your table gets broken up. And and at this point you had some chips, so when you end up at a new table, people are already looking at you like, oh, this guy, we got to look out, look at this chips this guy has. So you're walking around now with a big bullseye on you.
Exactly, and our table broke probably only 30-40 minutes into the morning. Got moved to a new table with bigger stacks. So now you're like, well, I'm not the big man. I can't fit. I was probably still the big stack of the table, but there's like 2 or 3 other comparable stacks, a couple pros at that table. The only person to come with me from the original table, Mermelstein, the only guy I don't want to see. So he comes with me, and we play there for a few hours, and then we get moved to a third table where, blessing and a curse, table is flush with chips. I'm coming in with 250 plus thousand, thinking, oh, I'm a big man around here, and I come in as like the average stack at the table. So there was a lot going on at that table before I got there.
So you had a good day too, though, in the sense that your chip stack progressively went up. It was more the scenery that wasn't going in your direction, but the chips were flowing to you through day 2.
Yeah, we had a little roller coaster of a day at some point. We lost a big pot to a Japanese YouTuber.
Well, you're going to be famous in Asia now.
Yeah, I'm going to be famous in Japan. I actually asked him. I lost a big pot bluffing to him, and I go, "Hey, I was like, is that hand going to be on YouTube?" And he's like, "Oh, most definitely." I was like, "Oh, great. That's how we'll get there." But we finished the day strong. We finished with 400-something thousand, 450,000.
Oh, wow. So you're about as you're finishing your second day walking up to the hotel room at the Rio, and you're like, this really couldn't have gone much better than I imagined. I have 3 times more chips than I had the day before.
Yeah, it was quite the we triple up our first day. We a little more than double up our second day. Like we're here living the dream, literally living our dream.
I mean, what were you? Do you go to the room and open the curtains, look out the window, see the strip, have a glass of champagne? I mean, I don't even know what I would do after. That literally for the recreational gambler, from going to Maine, winning your way in a home game, making it out to the Rio, and then not only doing well the first day, continuing that momentum and doing well the second day. I mean, it must be an all-time poker moment for you after that second day.
Oh, yeah, well, I think I'll tell you, we'll sneak preview. My all-time poker moment came on the third day. But
I like this. I like where this is going here.
But it's midnight. We opened the curtains. We had a great view. This, I'm looking at Caesars. I'm looking at the high roller. I can see the football stadium for my. We're living it, and we went into day 3 with another day off and another good stack. So
now on these days off, now I don't want to sound like a gamble-holic here, but were you going to play other poker games? Did you go play any slots, craps? Like, what do you do in that time off? I mean, are you studying poker? I mean, or are you just trying to forget about it for a day?
On my way there, obviously going in, I'm doing a lot of studying, but I'm not spending the time during there. I'm just trying to relax.
You already crammed for the test. Whatever happens, happens. Or you're not going to learn something today that's going to make you pass the test if the wrong thing happens.
It's funny. It's one of those things where I'm like, let's relax and let's just, I'm exhausted at that point so I got to sleep in. But at the same time, you get down there and it's at 8:00. What are you going to do? You're going to throw $20, $100 on a slot machine and see what happens. We went to a couple other. I went to a couple other casinos. What was that one casino I went to? If you haven't been out there, Resorts World, new casino.
I haven't been. I've seen pictures. A lot of my pals on Twitter have been showing me the pictures of the Resorts World. It looks beautiful.
People don't even know where it is. It's towards the stratosphere end of the strip. That place was something else. Beautiful poker room, great food options, beautiful casino, lots of, it's brand new too. So if you're looking for a place to change of pace, that was a good day off activity.
And one thing that's interesting now about the new casinos, because of there's a lot less smoking now with COVID. A lot of places are just staying non-smoking. The casinos aren't going to get that stench, wet dog smell that a lot of the older casinos have. It's like a place like Resorts with mostly, I'm assuming it's almost all non-smoking, if not completely non-smoking. You're saying that, it's going to be fresh and clean, have that new casino smell for a little bit longer. Even though, sometimes when I'm in Atlantic City, that the nasty old smoke smell, it kind of takes me back. And, it's kind of like maybe it's one of those little mental callbacks for me where I kind of like this terrible smell sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a really great place to check out. But, we'll throw in, I got a couple casino games that I like to frequent, even though I shouldn't, but.
Well, do tell.
I'm a fan of, it's the most basic one. I'm a fan of the wheel, man.
The wheel. Oh, the money wheel. Wow.
The money
Look
wheel.
at that from the poker. It's like the total opposite of the poker game. Poker, you're studying, you're Googling people, getting your dossiers for them. And then the money wheel, you're like, oh, put it on blue or whatever the hell it is.
I like to pull the crank and see it go. And that's my spot. They have the video screen ones too, where, you can control it, and that's my spot. Just chill there. And exactly the opposite of poker. No thinking involved.
Yeah, just let it go.
I'm putting it on too. I'm just trying to run up a stack here. We got a little system, and we made a few $100 there.
Yeah, so. Some brainless money funds. There's some nice, good old fashioned gambling out there in Vegas. As a glutton, I got a question for you. I'm a huge glutton. I overeat. It's one of my favorite hobbies. Did you have any, these first couple days off, did you go wine and dine, have any nice meals? Did you check out any restaurants you've been wanting to get to? Because Vegas has no shortage of expensive, beautiful restaurants with an experience.
Yeah, I didn't go all out in this time. Last time we went to Hell's Kitchen. You're not going to go out and Vegas and not check out Gordon Ramsay's spot, and you're not going to go to Gordon Ramsay's spot and not get the Wellington.
You got to get the Wellington. What are you there for? Maybe if I lived in Vegas, I wouldn't get it every time, but you got to get the Wellington.
You got to get a welly in the belly, as we say. So that was the last trip. We went on a couple nice spots, but I got a couple of small spots I really like out in downtown over on Fremont Street. There's a little Thai spot. It's called Le Thai. Just the best Thai food you can get anywhere, man. And, it's not expensive, and it still feels high end. You're in Vegas, you're under the lights. That's really my jam. I make a point to go out there every time.
Hit Fremont. You got the girls with the pasties on their boobs. They're dancing around. You go into Le Thai, get a little drunken noodle or something, relax, and then you hit the Fremont Street like an animal.
Oh yeah, you got the Golden Nugget, you got the D, you got a lot going on there. So I went out there, and then I was out in Atlanta right before the pandemic hit, and I went to this chicken sandwich spot, Hattie B's chicken sandwiches, and it was, I'm telling you, Vito, the best chicken sandwich I've ever had. And I've been dreaming about this chicken sandwich for 2 years now. And I check out their website, and they're like a Nashville hot chicken spot, and they only got like four locations, one of which happens to be in the Cosmopolitan.
So who's hitting up the Cosmo?
Yeah, we weren't going to leave Vegas without hitting that chicken sandwich, and it's worth it. For something cheap and delicious. That's my spot right there.
So you're on a roll here. You're heading into your day 3 of the World Series.
I'm already a winner.
You went to Fremont, had a little Latai. You got your favorite chicken sandwich from Atlanta. Somehow it's at the Cosmo. What a miracle. Yeah. So you're gearing up for day 3. So you're at this point, you're able to see who's going to be at your table. So did you wake up day 3 and you're like, all right, we're back in the James Bond mode here, doing my recon, getting all set up. I got to get in the Zen mode to go back and hit day 3. And how did day 3 go? Now I was stalking you on Facebook, I believe, but this is going to be new to me because I don't recall your timeline of events.
Day 3 was the day to stalk. So we get at day 3 again. We're the big stack at the table. I got a couple high rollers at the table, but nobody I'm really worried about. And then I got directly to my right, I've got an empty seat, and within a few minutes they send over a new player, and this guy's got a stack, and I'm already, we ended at 460,000, I believe, day 2. So we're at a good stack. This guy comes in with 600,000, and I'm like, oh, okay, here's something's going on. And immediately,
not ideal here. Now, was he to your right or to your left when he sat down?
He's directly on my right. So,
oh boy,
but right where you want a big stack. You don't want to.
Yeah, he's not after you, but there's going to be a lot of big action possibly to your right that's going to change your plans.
Yeah, so this guy, he's the Spanish guy from Miami, he's a baller, man. And he comes in and he starts throwing chips around, and we happen to get, and we're really early in the day, and we happen to get a big pot. He raises, I have pocket queens, and I noticed this guy is, he's an action player. So we raise him with pocket queens. He comes back and calls, and we just get into this massive pot somehow.
Right, and you're like, what is going on here?
I've probably put 300,000 of my 150,000 stack in there, so I'm a little nervous of what's happening here. And we get to the river. We ended up checking. He flips over 6-7.
Huh. And what was on the board?
There's a pair of jacks on the board, so we're each worried about the other one.
Yeah, so you're biting your nails like, oh god, is this guy has a freaking jack here?
And then we just, he just turns over a pair of 7s. I got my queens, and we scoop. We're up for 600,000-700,000 all of a sudden, and and then it just rolled from there. Going to the first break, right at the first break, we were probably the first person in the World Series to hit 1 million chips.
Wow! So you were talking early in the day. You're going out to get a little muffin or something because it's so early still, and you guys are one of the highest chip stacks in the whole place right now.
I'm more likely than not the chip leader of the World Series poker at this point.
Oh my god!
So I'm walking around the Rio just like with this knowledge in my mind. Nobody knows who I am, and you see. Phil Hellmuth walking through the hallway. You see, the Negranos of the world walking through the hallway, and you're just like, I got you.
I got more chips than that guy. How many chips?
I probably got 10 times more chips than you, bud. And it was a surreal feeling for that, for that half hour at least.
So I'm assuming by where it seems like we're going here that the rest of day 3 didn't turn out like the pre-first break of day 3.
Day 3 was a roller coaster, man, but we ended nicely, so it wasn't that big a deal. We ended at about 600,000.
Okay.
So we're up for the day. We still got a good stack, 75 blinds going into day 4. But we avoided some huge pots, and I think the story of day 3 was also that's when we made the money. And that
how was that moment? Now, is it like, because I haven't watched it on TV recently, but I feel like I recall where like everyone's biting their nails waiting for them to be like everyone's in the money. Did they have that moment of everyone was like, woohoo?
Well, that was it took forever, man. So we're flying through players. So day 3, all the tables, all the days are combined. So we've got everybody left in the tournament here in day 3 playing. And they're paying out the top 1,000 spots. and we're watching the clock. It's getting towards the end of the day, and the tournament is eliminating players like wildfire. Like we're literally dropping one a minute. We're going.
So you're feeling good. You're about 600 people are dropping like flies. You're like,
yeah. All right, we're 500. We're 300 away. We're 100 away, and we're still flying. And we get about to 20 players away from the money. They make the announcement that says, "We are just going to play until we hit the money tonight. We're not going to have
overtime."
Which is fine, you know. Especially you're thinking at the rate we're going, we're still losing a player a minute. We play 20 extra minutes or whatever. Not a big deal. We fly through that. We get down to 5 players left from the money. We're 1,005. And then at that point, they go hand for hand.
Oh, so that's going to take it a little longer anyway, too.
We're talking
these long hands.
You know, you're, a few people away from a huge payday. So people aren't going to go crazy, so we're talking 15, 20 minutes for one hand.
Oh.
You play it out, then you have to wait for every table to stop. If there's an all in at your table, you just stop and you wait. They bring the TV cameras over. They bring the announcer over. They bring over Jack Effel. So they announce it to the whole room. And we're just going through hand after hand after hand, especially even we got down to one away from the money. And we probably had, three hands where you're talking 15 minutes a hand. But that moment was surreal, man. When we got down, we're still one away from the money. They're announcing this last all-in hand, and the person who's at risk flips over pocket aces. Here we go.
I feel like as a pocket aces lover, I feel like they spurned me a lot.
So this guy flips over pocket aces. His opponent flips over ace 9. And then we're like, we're all right. We're another. I'm the blind the next hand. I already put out my blind. I'm ready to go. And they announce it. There's a 9 on the flop, and we're like, oh, here we go. Nothing on the turn, and then a miracle 9 on the river. The building explodes. Oh, you should see. I mean, you got to feel for that guy who comes at 1,000.
No, that's true. I weep for him, but for everyone watching too, they must have been like, "Hey, all right, this is going to be another hand." And they're like, "Wait a minute, there's COVID a slim chance."
COVID be damned. We are high-fiving, hugging.
Wow, and so you went into overtime that day. Now, how long did that take? Was that a lot longer?
That was a lot longer. So we probably usually finish 11:30. We probably didn't finish till 1:40, 1:45. And
you had to play the next day.
And we have to play the next day. So again, for our body, it's 5:00 in the morning, and we gotta get up and play for noon. They give us a little extension. So they started the game at noon on day 4, but it was quite the moment, but it was exhausting for everybody. So we're all in the same boat. So it's not like there's any advantage or disadvantage.
So day 3 ends. You're high on the hog here. You go up to the room. You're like, this is the best. I mean, really, you couldn't have came up with a better way for this thing to go, really. I mean, as I'm living vicariously through the story, you go up day 1. You're up day 2. Day 3, you have some ups and downs, but in the end, you're up. You're doing great. You're you're at one point, you're almost one of the chip leaders. So then you head into day 4.
Yeah, we head into day 4. I think, when we're talking about tips and tricks for these kind of tournaments, this is where I flubbed up a little bit in that I planned my trip. I was out there for a week, and I planned it specifically for if I make the money, I'll extend the trip. My flight is supposed to go back on day 4, day 5. So we make the money, we cancel our flight. We're happy to cancel our flight. But my only issue was we go down to the Rio, and to extend our stay, Rio is sold out for the weekend. First of all, when is the Rio ever sold out?
Probably just that one weekend a year, actually.
I know. So we're sold out. So we got to find some alternative housing plans, and so we found someone to stay with. But that day 4 morning, we spent the morning packing our stuff.
So you had this great flow going. Got your room, your meditation area all set up.
Yeah.
And then the opposite. You make the money, you're celebrating, but now you got to now you're your own travel agent.
Yeah, and I've been living my best life. So I got some cleaning to do up around the room. Everything's strewn everywhere.
Got my phone charger, my shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah.
And so did you stay with somebody at the Rio, or were you like down the road now?
I had a friend who was out there who had a timeshare, and he happened to have an extra bed in his condo. So
bougie, the timeshare. You got a little kitchen action now.
We got a kitchen action, 15, 20 minutes off the strip. Not a big deal. Simple Uber ride, but we had to pack up our stuff, throw it into the bellhop, and then just kind of wander for an hour. So that was kind of, I'm not going to blame that. We still had a great time and a great run, and just things happened. But
it definitely changed the mojo a little bit.
Yeah,
because it wasn't the zen of this is our routine. This is how we're churning this money. This was more like mentally, I have to go figure out where I'm going to sleep. Because I did, I'm celebrating. I made it to the money, but now also I have all this homework that at the time I was if I thought this was happening, I'd be like, oh, who cares? I made the money. I'll do that. But as you're in the middle of the thick of the war here, you're saying, gee, this ended up being a little thorn in my side, actually having to pack up and change all this and change my routine.
Yeah, we're on the phone with Delta till 3:00 in the morning, just canceling our flight.
Gosh.
So happy problems, good problems.
Yes, good problems to have. So now you're heading to day 4 of this. So this is different. You're not just strolling down in your pajamas here and your slippers. You're taking an Uber now, like the first time from the timeshare. So you're getting there. How does that change your flow during the day? So you're not running up to your room. You're basically like, I'm hanging at the Rio till whenever I'm out of here.
Exactly. So I didn't go to the timeshare till that night. So we put our stuff with the concierge, the bellhop. So now we've just got an hour to kill around the Rio. So let's throw some money in a slot machine. Let's get some breakfast. We're not going to not enjoy our time. We, went and got a quick massage. So it wasn't bad, but it just was a different feel, going in there. But you're also like, you've got this, we're in the money now. So let's.
Now, I have a question I should have asked earlier. You keep saying we. Now, what is this? Who is this we? I know you're playing, but who is the we?
Oh, I'm playing for everybody. I'm playing for the club. I'm playing for friends and family. Whenever someone texts me, they're like, "Where are we at? What's our chip stack at?"
So that's true, because you came from it's a tight knit satellite you won. It's not like a normal one where everyone's out for blood. So everybody's rooting for you. You got like when they do like the finishes of the reality shows, and they got all the family and friends in the room somewhere where the kid's from. That's like what's going on there with you. Everyone's like, "Oh, how's Matt doing? Did you text him? I saw him. Check his Facebook. He put the update up."
My phone's blowing up. My phone's dying. I got the external charger going. We got so many phone calls and texts coming in. So it was, everyone's happy for me. So you feel like a little mini celebrity in your own community, which is great.
Now, day 4. We're at the table. What happened day 4?
Day 4, we just couldn't get it going. And it's poker. It happens. We had no significant traction the whole day. So we just kind of whittled down, lost some pots. We're probably away from the second break, I believe, of the day. And I'm getting to a low stack, and we've been grinding out. We've actually been making pay jumps, which is great. So you're sitting there and you're like, bittersweet again. My stack's going down, but it's going down at a slow enough speed that my money is growing here. The min cash for the main event's 15,000. So we hit the 15,000. We blow through that pay jump within the first hour or two. Then now we're looking at 17,000. Then we're looking at 20,000, and we're at like 21.6 was the pay jump that I ended up at, and we're the hand before break, and I'm sitting in a stack with about 10 blinds, and I'm like, all right, we don't want to come back to 6 blinds, 8 blinds.
So be the guy where it's like, I'm all in, and some guy's like, oh, let me flip this quarter in there for this little guy here.
So right this hand before break, we throw it all in. We've got 8-9 suited, and we've got a couple small stacks behind us, so we're like, oh,
maybe everyone folds.
We'll fold. We'll drag a pallet at the end of the break, and one big stack, and he wakes up with aces, and
I'm gonna guess the aces weren't cracked this time.
Weren't cracked. He flopped us dead, actually. So. So there was no sweat at all. So
you had a long break.
I had a long break. My break was spent in the money line, which is a nice place to be.
Not the worst break. Yeah, that's true. So you're feeling good now. So but you actually you went through all this trouble. You canceled the flight. You moved the hotel room, and then you're saying did you even your bags are still at the desk at the Rio?
Yeah. So we canceled the flight. The flight was in the morning, so we had.
So you had to. There was no I should have kept that.
Yeah, no. So it was all good, and we, it was just nice to get home. Fly back the next day, relax, have a couple of days off before heading back to reality.
Well, you were living the ultimate in dream reality there. So that worked out kind of conveniently. You end up checking out. You didn't even have to go to the timeshare until that night. Then you say, all right, we'll rebook the flight. You probably did that on your phone or something while you were walking around. Rebook it. And then you got out. So it was only basically a day away. It was one day that your departure was off, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. And but it's one of those things where if you told me before the tournament, man, you're going to cash for 21,600, I'd be like, that's the dream.
That's all I want. I'm fine.
That's all I'll take. But, in the spot we were in where got one of the big stacks, could we have done better? Maybe, but I'm not going to complain. Beggars can't be choosers.
Now, to harp on the negative, was there any sort of hands or was there any moment where you look back and you say, that was a big mistake. That was a misstep that set me on because for me personally, I am emotional. I'll do all sorts of dumb things and then compound my problems at the poker table. Was it just that you weren't getting the cards weren't falling your way, or was there something where you miscalculated?
Yeah, there was that last day. There was a couple spots of, ironically, I lost two big pots, both to Jack 9 of clubs. Exactly. Both to trip jacks, two jacks on the board. Once with ace queen, once with ace king.
Oh, so it's even more. So those are two hands where it's like, you're making the right play, you're making the right thing. Who's expecting a Jack 9 here? Yeah. So we get up against the first one. The opponent got lucky, hit a Jack on the river, so we lost some piles there. The second one was, again, when you're in these spots with the pay jumps, you want to put pressure on people. And we're in a big spot, and we're a big stack against a medium stack. We get to the river. I've just got ace king. But we're flying through pay jumps, so we want to put the max pressure. So we put this guy all in, and he's really thinking about it. And he's looking around. He's trying to see the clock of are we at the pay jump? Is it if I call and lose, am I going to be, am I losing out on a few $1,000s that I could keep for if I hold on for a few minutes? In the end, he ends up making the call, which is obviously the right call. He had trips. He was never folding. Oh, wow. So in a way, you were sitting there like, just fold. Oh, we might fold. He's thinking about it. And really, when he flipped him over, you must have been like, what the hell does this guy think? What did he think what was going on here?
It was interesting because there was a kind of an etiquette situation going on too. We were in our spot in the room. We were in a weird spot where there's TV monitors all over the Rio where you can see the clock. You can see how many players are still in. And our table was in a really bad spot. We couldn't see any TV monitors. So we had no idea how much time was left in the line. We had no idea how many players were left. So my opponent starts looking around to see the clock, which he is totally entitled to do. And there is a rule also that if he got up from the table to look, his hand would be dead. You can't leave the table when you're playing.
Oh.
So some guys at our table notice that he's looking around trying to see the clock. And they just give him that information. They say, hey, if you're worried about the pay jump, don't worry. We just hit it.
Oh, you must have been like, son of a...
Yeah, and I'm just like, come on, guy. If he asks, I totally, he's entitled to that information. But
it's almost as if they're saying, call him, just call him. What's the
exactly,
difference?
So we had a nice discussion after that about.
So the table got a little chippy there for a minute.
Well, there were people on my side, and I get where they're coming from, but just keep your mouth shut until after.
I'd be sitting there like, hopefully he gets up to look at the TV. Oh yeah, I think there's a TV right over there. Oh, you got to just get out of the chair for 1 second.
Yeah, so we made an agreement afterwards that if somebody wants to know the information, just ask and someone will get up and check it for you, which is fine.
Don't just give it because you're influencing somebody's thought process, especially when they come in hot like, oh yeah, no, we just did the page jump. You got nothing to lose.
And I'm not gonna make a big deal because looking at his hand,
he had the trips on you.
He was gonna call. So it was what it was. But it was the right. If he doesn't have trip jacks there, he's folding. And
you felt good. You for what was going, and honestly, until he flipped the jacks, you were probably like, we might have this guy. He might fold. He's looking. He's not confident. If he had something, he probably would have just called really quickly here.
I mean, there's straights out there. There's flushes out there. There's full houses out there. There's a lot that this guy could lose to. So, put it.
So I mean, maybe so I could see why here's the time. You're doing great. Don't worry about it. Could be like that's a turning point for me.
It's not impossible for him to fold there, but it's, he made the right call and it was fine. But it was a little frustrating. And then we just kind of whittled down from there. But, we had some great plays during the week too. So I wasn't really worried about that. It was one of those things where I wished I was on the TV table because I was like, they would be loving the tricks I'm pulling right now.
Now, is there a chance when this goes on TV, are we going to see it, you think? I mean, you're a chip leader at one point. You think they're going to mention your name or have a picture on there?
I don't know. Probably not because the TV tables, it doesn't matter about chip leaders really. They're more worried about having a name there. So they want Negrano, they want Helmuth, they want Moneymaker, they want Doyle Brunson, they want the big names, regardless of the stack.
They don't want the guy from Maine in the poker club.
No, not yet. Not yet.
That's true. Because if you made it further, then you'd be the sweetheart, the Cinderella tale.
Yeah, you know what? This is true. I don't know if you watched the results of it, but the guy who came in second, George Holmes, same situation. Won $4 million. He's from a home game in Georgia. He's only played the main event twice. He cashed the first time, but he came in second this year, and it's his only World Series of Poker cashes. And one is for $50,000, one is for $4.3 million. So George Holmes, I was rooting for that guy.
So a little living vicariously for George Holmes a little bit when you got home there.
Yeah, I was watching on the Poker Go app, and I was rooting for that guy because that was the boat I was in. So it is possible. That's the dream of the main event. You could be there against the pros. That's why poker is amazing. There's no other game like it. Oh, you can't just go play in the Super Bowl, but you can play in the Super Bowl of poker.
That's not. You know what? That's actually a really good analogy there. You could be a football fan. I'm never going to throw a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Yeah. I could love basketball. I'm never going to hit that 3-pointer like Jordan and win the finals. But I like poker, and there's a chance I could get out there and knock out a legend or be that Cinderella tale, that Chris Moneymaker, basically, where you're starting at home with $1 in or whatever, $90 for your buy-in, and suddenly you're out there looking out the Rio having a glass of champagne on day 3 saying, who's better than me? I couldn't have dreamed this up.
Yep, I got, I got the most important shot. I got the screenshot of me being the chip leader. So we're going to bronze that somewhere.
But get it framed, put it up behind you.
Yeah. So we're never going to, they can't take that away.
That's for sure. Now, I want to thank you again. We're approaching an hour here. I don't mean to take up so much of your time, but this has really been fascinating to me as a novice poker aficionado and a cyber stalker of you who have been watching you from afar. I'm so happy to hear about all this. And I mean, before we get out of here, is there any parting words you have for anybody or any things that maybe you learned along the way that'll help you next year? Or basically, I'm fishing for anything that could help me get here, man. Anything that could get me the money.
Well, I think poker especially tournament poker is in a really interesting, weird spot right now because with the way the job market is, the casinos are hurting for dealers, and poker tournaments don't pay the bills like cash poker does or like slot machines does. So they're few and far between, but you got to find ways to play. So there's the home game scene probably picked up a lot, and then there's the poker app scene where that has really picked up a lot. I don't know if you're in that area or aware of that area. There's Poker Bros, PP Poker, a couple poker apps where it's play money that equates to real money in your home accounting system.
Okay, yeah, no, during the pandemic, we had some friendly home games on like Party Poker, or whatever the hell it was,
yes.
Poker Stars maybe.
Yeah,
and it was like, all right, yeah, well, play our play money, but camaraderie here. This is what we're buying in for.
So yeah, so that's really the way to go right now. Poker Stars home games, exactly. Like you can get some profitable ones, and that's how I've been staying current. Online poker is different than live poker for sure, but the math is still the same. Keep your brain sharp. So I would just say, find a home game, find some satellites. It actually, even if you're not in the main event, go out to the World Series of Poker while you're there. The poker is never better than that month and that week. There's tournaments at every casino. There's cash games. There's sit and goes. You can make a lot of money just hanging out, and you get to watch the World Series of Poker too.
And you hobnob with some of the poker celebrities a little bit.
Oh yeah, I didn't have any really big names, but I got to play with people I respect, people I've seen on streams, seen on TV. So it was really great to be out there and just like, go toe to toe with the big boys.
Oh man, well, I'm rooting for you to make it back again. And one last question: you're in Maine here. Do you ever get sick of eating lobster? Do you eat lobster all the time? Are there lobsters falling from the sky? Lobster rolls for lunch every day? I mean, that's my. I've never been to Maine, but if I do go, I know I'm going to slosh down as much lobster as possible. Just give me some lobster tails quick before I go eat lunch.
Lobster tail. I'm not the person to ask this question. It is ruined on me. I am not a lobster fan.
Oh, was it that it's just too much lobster, or you never really the lobster?
No, I listen. I want to like it. I want to love it. It looks so good, but I take that bite and I'm like, I'll get like, I'm a guy who likes to eat, so I get like lobster mac and cheese or something, and I'm like, oh, I just want mac and cheese, man. So
okay, I know, I see that because I'm not the lobster mac and cheese guy myself. It's like, you know what? I don't need to throw the lobster in the mac here.
No, but there's, if you're gonna come for lobster, this is the place. And still, even though I'm living in Maine, just like you, from Connecticut, a Connecticut lobster roll is the way to go. Get the butter.
I like it. I like that.
I'm still Team Connecticut through and through.
How's the pizza up there?
Well, it's not New Haven, but we got some
Connecticut
stuff.
Lobster rolls, New Haven pizza. I'm feeling pretty good today. I might go hop in the car, roll the windows down.
My friend Emily once said, she said the worst part about moving to another state from Connecticut is telling them that everything they know about pizza is wrong.
And that is the truth. And those people from Chicago, I don't want to hear about your little tomato soup bowls that you bring out with the cheese in them. I get the flack from Chicago people. The New Haven pie, I agree. It's the best pie.
Deep dish, it's good. It's not pizza. Just call it something else.
Yeah,
it's a casserole.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good, but it's not pizza.
And on that note, we'll let the hate mail roll in. Matt, thank you so much for taking some time out here, and may all your hands be pocket aces, or maybe not. We don't want them to be pocket aces because that doesn't seem to work out too well.
No, how about King 3 suited? That's
King 3 suited or Jack 9. May all your hands be Jack 9.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you again. I will talk to you soon. Hopefully, see you on TV.
Absolutely. Later, bud.
All right, woohoo, right. I want to thank Matty again for coming on the show, taking time out on a nice football Sunday to talk about his experience at the World Series. Hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did because, I lay in bed at night, I want to get in, you go to the satellites, you want to make it out to the World Series, and, a lot of us, $10,000 to throw into a poker tournament, that's a big chunk of change. So it's always great to hear about the recreational gambler. He won for his poker club, went out there, and I think did him proud. He placed, and to me, I'm jealous of that story. I love that story. I lived vicariously through him that whole time. But before we get out of here, hey, we're at an hour. Hey, maybe you got some Thanksgiving traveling going on. You got a few extra minutes. But I wanted to say hello to everyone. I miss you. I've been going through some emails. I want to apologize. I don't want to say off the grid because I've been on the grid. But I've been kind of, slacking on my cousin Vito at gmail.com email address. So if you sent me anything there, I'm thumbing through it, trying to respond as quick as possible. And everyone knows you can follow me on Twitter at Vito's Casino. I think I'm on Instagram, Cousin Vito's Casino. That's all my junk if you want to follow me and you enjoy the show. And I probably, you listen to the other episodes, I probably said it there. But we're going to do, this is Thanksgiving time. So I'm just going to, we're going to just wrap here. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving. It's been a long couple years, and I've been heading back to the casino a lot more often now. I had a great time at Foxwoods during the pandemic. I moved my play to Mohegan post-pandemic, having a great time there. And legal gambling online is official in Connecticut. So I got the DraftKings. We got the FanDuel. And for me personally, obviously, when you do these online casinos, always be cognizant of the different rewards and promos they have for signing up or bringing your friends onto the app. So if you're calculated, you could get a lot of great free play. DraftKings had a nice, easy one. You buy in for $5 into the casino. I don't even know if you had to wager your $5, and you get a $50 free casino kickback. They're also giving out free play for different sorts of bets. And if I were a good entrepreneur here, I'd probably have a promo code or something for you. But you know what? Ask around. Maybe you have a friend that wants the kickback for getting you to sign up. And I haven't tried the Sugar House online in Connecticut, but I'm leaning DraftKings based on the promos and the freebies they've been giving me, but I do prefer the FanDuel app better because it works on my iPad better, where the DraftKings app is kind of like a phone app. It's one of those things where you can't do it horizontally. You got to look at it vertically. So app-wise, I prefer the FanDuel app, but free play-wise, I'm preferring the DraftKings app. And I've also, my new thing's been the video poker. Robin is not on the show today, but we're going to have to get him back. I've been the double bonus poker maniac lately. I've been churning all sorts of poker on the apps here, so I've been having a good time practicing, trying to learn my basic double bonus strategy, mixing in a little double Ultimate X for everyone. And I want to also wish everyone luck going out to Zorkfest now. If you're listening to this, I've been looking at the flights. I can get a free flight out, get a free flight back. The room rates are great. I just got to make it work with the kid, the baby. I got the wife. We got the family coming in. So I got all these other engagements here. But I've been happy and healthy. Those who follow me online, you can see I'm still doing my professional wrestling hobby. I just got back-fisted by Eddie Kingston last week, still feeling sore from that. And life's been great. So hopefully everyone out there in the world, you're having a great time too. And by the fact you're listening to this, I could tell you're a fun-loving person, because if you made a passing interview and you're sitting here listening to me talk about my gambling life and my regular life, you must be doing okay. So hopefully you are doing great. We're running long here, though. We're over an hour, and I just want to thank everyone who's reached out to me. I've been on hiatus here a little bit longer, It's tough doing the weekly thing. The baby, he wants a string cheese. He's got a fever. His nose is running. So I've been enjoying fatherhood very much, but obviously it's taken a little bit of my free time. So I'm hoping to get back into, I've been gambling a little bit more. I'm getting the juices are flowing now. You can go to the casino. I don't got the plexiglass, don't got the mask. It feels like things are getting normal. You watch the news, they say it's not normal, but we'll see. Hopefully we survive this winter and, we could continue this for a long time. Let's see. Where am I here? We talked about the wrestling, talked about the baby, talked about Zorkfest coming up in December. Head to travelzork.com, by the way. Michael Traeger puts on a great event out there. I'm trying to dance around, maybe go out there, sneak, and surprise everybody. If they're listening to this, it might not be a surprise, but we'll see. I'm still on the fence. The winter travel. You got the delays, you got the snow, you got the wind. Do I want to go through that? And then I got Christmas the next week, and hint, I actually have a casino trip planned for after Christmas, too, so I don't want to blow my bankroll out at Zorkfest, even though all my great friends are going to be out there. I saw Eric Rosenthal's out there. I see Julian is out there. Tim's out there. I heard Robin might be going out there. My buddy Rick. We got Mark from You Can Bet on That might be out there. So it's really a who's who. Obviously, all the Vegas regulars are going to be out there, and I hope they have a great time. And who knows, maybe I'll swing by. We'll see. But, that's where we are here. I wanted to thank everyone for all the emails. And you know what happened to me the other day? I was at Mohegan. I've been going to Foxwoods. I actually was smart. I went to Foxwoods to put all my play there. But then I went to Mohegan. I'm going to Mohegan. And I ran into somebody that I haven't seen in a very long time. At the video poker machine, I get a tap on the shoulder. And who is it? But Roman philosopher Seneca. He says, hey, Cousin Vito, I haven't seen you in a long time. And I said, Roman philosopher, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? He said, Vito, I'm doing great, but it's that Thanksgiving time of year. And I just want to remind you that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. And guys, today talking to Matty, I think I prepared to, if I do make it into the World Series, not make the mistakes he made the first time and make the smart moves he made the second time. And I feel like, just living through these past 2 years, we're prepared to appreciate things and be thankful for things like our family, our friends, our local casinos, our tier status, our wife, our kids, and hey, happy for our health and all that too. And yeah, maybe happy for legal online gambling, throwing a little sports bet at 1 o'clock right before the games, and now it's legal. So loving all that, loving life, and I don't know what it is, guys. I don't know if it's little sunny boy running around banging his head. I don't know if it's my lovely wife who basically lets me go to the casino whenever I want. I don't know if it's the Mohegans, the Pequots. I don't know if it's my pal Tim from A Better Life. Check it out. I was on his show recently. I don't know if it's my good friend Robin, my buddy Lou, who just went on a trip with me. By the way, Big Lou and Cousin Vito Eats. Check out Big Lou Loves Food on YouTube. I don't know if it's my cousin Mikey who comes back to the casino these days, but I got a funny feeling that between me, you, the man upstairs, and hey, maybe the man downstairs, that together we're going to make luck